The UN declared the year 2026 the International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists, IYRP. The suggestion came from the Mongolian government. Therefore, I will show you photos of some plants and other living beings of pasture biocenoses, mentioning the ecosystems and geographical locations. According to my personal fields of research, I'm putting my main focus on alpine pastures in Switzerland and on the Balearic Garrigues. All the photos are from the Holarctic floristic realm and the Palearctic subrealm, which at the same time is the faunistic realm. That's where I'm most competent. I will do without deeper ecological analyses of the species. I will not distinguish between rare and frequent species and will not treat neophytes separately. I will only present some part of the biodiversity without judging. I'll speak of how to support pastoralism instead. In Germany, like in other countries, we have a group that prepares the IYRP in order to get people informed about that important life form. Of course, we are part of an international network. Still, I'm not speaking in the name of any group here, but on my own, from ecological and anthropological viewpoints. In Spain, for some years, there has been a group that organizes a several-day symposium on rangelands every year. In 2024, we had the 7th symposium in Galicia on the topic of rangelands and biodiversity. It's joyable that the UNESCO declared transhumance a cultural heritage. It is to be hoped that the worth of near-to-nature pasture farming comes more and more into people's consciousness, and that widespread stereotypes of the consumerist society can be overcome. Lately, we had an online meeting with lectures from indigenous pastoralists. It was organized by the WOMIP, the World Association of Mobile Indigenous Peoples. People from quite a few countries spoke, of course not focused on biodiversity. In a global context, that would be a very vast and heterogeneous field. Camel nomads in the Sahara, yak keepers in the Himalaya, reindeer herders in Lapland, semi-nomads in Ecuador, shepherds in Central Europe. They all live in their specific ecozones and ecosystems, and their effects on biodiversity are consequently very different. Their problems with political and economic developments, on the other hand, have very much in common and require a lot of solidarity. One speaker pointed out that pasture farming is an answer to many problems of humanity. However, it has to be taken into account that not everywhere is pasture farming possible all year round. Even though I have experienced goats and cows with their calves in Norway, out in the snow in winter, they needed to be given food because Norwegian winter did not provide pasture. Since migrating pastoralists defy state control to some extent, nomadism is often defamed as antiquated, and the ecological worth of pasture grazing is often concealed. Extensive pasture farming does not have a financially strong lobby like intensive livestock keeping, intensive field agriculture, food industry, and laboratory meat have, all of which are likely to reduce biodiversity. So it is very joyable and long overdue that the UN dedicates a year to this ecologically and economically indispensable branch of economy. Anyone who has ever heard of ecology knows that extensive pasture farming contributes a lot to biodiversity and also to climate change mitigation. So often we hear about the disappearing of species, including the dying of insects or more specifically of bees. If we want to do anything about it, pasture farming is an indispensable contribution. That's just why I present some of the rangeland's biodiversity in pictures here. Whoever wants to do something for orchids, wild bees, columboles, butterflies and moths inevitably supports extensive pasture farming, knowing that many species take advantage from it. Grasses have the biggest benefit from it anyway. This family has a 30 million years co-evolution with the ruminants and tolerates easily being cut off by teeth. Who does not buy pasture products should not complain about the disappearing of species. Luckily, there is a growing movement which points out the importance of near-to-nature pasture farming. I am not the only one to give lectures and publish on the worth of pasture farming. Apart from biodiversity, pasture farming serves climate change mitigation, the life quality of both livestock and pastoralists, the conservation of recreational areas, wildfire prevention, soil erosion prevention, the protection from avalanches, and the supply with valuable local products. When buying local pasture products, we avoid long transportation routes, and we have got a better control over the conditions of production, as for instance, let's say from a European perspective, with beef from Argentina or avocados from Mexico, two products that vast areas of forests are cleared for. With pork from small sheds, we don't usually know where the food is from. Often it is residues from pressing soy oil, which means that with the consumption of soy margarine, you support keeping pigs in small sheds. For this very reason, butter from pasture milk is the better choice for nature, the environment, and animal well-being. I ask everyone interested in biodiversity to say thanks to pastoralists. That is a great work based on love for the animals as well as for nature, yet does not pay off well. Pastoralists face lots of logistic difficulties. Let's hope that the International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists will bring considerable alleviation. I thank you all for supporting near-to-nature pasture farming, whether by herding or otherwise by buying its products. Either way, you contribute significantly to biodiversity.